Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we will do several useful things. We're going to learn how to play against the Sicilian. We're going to learn a lot of attacking concepts. And we will also see some useful ideas. And we will do it by looking at a game between Isaac Boleslavsky. The proper way to say his name is Isak. That was the Russian version. Isak Boleslavsky. He was a candidate back in the back in the middle of the 20th century. He was later coach of Tigran Petrosyan, and he's playing against a pretty good player, Georgy Lisitsyn. And we will get Sicilian on the board. We got d4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4. That's why you play knight f3, because you want to take back with the knight. By the way, taking with the queen exists. It's called the checkover, and that's a story for a different time. But knight takes is the main move, and now the main move by far is knight f6, which is what Lisitsyn does. The point of knight f6 is to force knight c3. If black plays something else, white can play pawn c4 and build what we call the Marozzi bind. Again, that's a story for a different time. I made the video on the Marozzi bind once upon a time, a long time ago. It's a very useful structure which you want to have if you're playing against the Sicilian. So black usually plays knight f6 to force knight c3. And here is when black has a big decision. He can play the Najdorf, which is the most common move by far, as you can see, more than 100,000 games. He can play the classical Sicilian with knight c6. He can play e6, the Scheveningen, or in this game he plays the dragon, pawn g6. Now, this was not the greatest dragon in the world, and the reason for that is this game was played a long time ago and they did not know theory really well. White plays bishop e3, which makes sense. The point of bishop e3 is white wants to play queen d2, connect the queen and the bishop, castle long, attack on the king side. Okay. Very important point, by the way, black cannot play knight g4 because of tactical reasons. White will play bishop b5. Black cannot block with a knight here because it's double attacked. Black cannot block with a knight here because it blocks the bishop, which means this knight becomes free, so knight takes, queen takes knight. And if black blocks with this bishop, well, now the bishop is pinned again. So we take the knight. And we won a piece. So let's go back. Black continues with the main dragon move, and now we want to play f3. The reason we want to play f3 is because if we continue with queen g2, now we are not controlling this square, which means black can now play knight g4, and we don't have the bishop b5 trick. Okay, so this is why white plays f3. Black castles, and white now, only once he played f3, only now he plays queen d2. Black plays knight c6, and this is the main dragon setup. If you've ever played against the dragon, or if you've ever played the dragon, this is what you're going to see. And now white has an important decision to make. The two main moves are castle and bishop c4. Bishop c4 deals with the pawn d5 line, which I will briefly touch on. It has certain downsides, or you can castle right away, or you can even play g4, which exists, and the point of g4 is postpone castling by a little bit and try to go for the pawn storm. Okay, white plays castle. So the main line right now by far, as you can see, is pawn d5. And in a certain world, white can win a pawn, but black gets compensation. I'll just give you an example. So white takes the pawn, black takes back, white plays knight c6, black takes back, And now it looks like white can take this knight 3 times, but it's not so good because takes. Now black plays queen c7. It looks like he shouldn't, because this is attacked, but the point of queen c7 is after queen takes, bishop f5 attacks the queen, but also threatens this, and white has to give up his queen for the rook, and computer believes this is slightly favorable for black. So let's go back. There are other lines which are considered to be a little bit better than this one for white in this world, but I don't want to get into it. The point is, they did not know about this idea back then, so black plays knight takes. Okay, knight takes, obviously we take with the bishop, and the reason is our bishop is sitting across from this bishop over here, and this is black's very powerful bishop, so we would like to make that trade at some point. And now the main move is bishop e6, which is what people play now. The point is there is pressure on this pawn, and then there will be queen a5, and that's sort of why black took the knight in the first place, because he wants to do this. Okay, but again, Lisitsyn did not know that, so queen a5, and queen a5 is not terrible. King b1. King b1 actually has an important point. These queens are looking at one another, and there is a world where white can play knight d5, which attacks this pawn, but also attacks this queen. If we go back one move, if we do this now, black can take with check. And we don't have time for this. But let's pretend in this world, white does that. If black takes the queen, white does not have to take back. Instead, we can take this pawn. The other point of king b1, of course, is this could potentially be a problem. So white preemptively deals with this. And black plays e5, which is just not a very good move. And the two big problems with e5 is A, the beautiful dragon bishop just got blocked. And the second point is now this pawn becomes weak, and connected to it, this square now becomes weak. Okay, Boleslavsky drops the bishop, sure. Now this is attacked, but there is a small trick involved. Black develops his bishop, connects the rooks, and white cannot take. Being greedy here does not work, and the point is very simple. This knight is terribly overworked, so one of the moves could be just something like this. And the point being, after knight takes, now the knight does not protect the rook, and black has this trick. So Boleslavsky does not take. When someone gives you something free, you don't just take it. But now black has ideas of maybe playing here and sacrificing the rook. So Boleslavsky moves the pawn, and now there is a lot less pressure here. Okay, now also black doesn't have his trick, so we can take, which is why black defends the pawn. Boleslavsky plays knight b5. 2 points, we are attacking the queen. We also pressure here. And black played queen a4. In this position, Boleslavsky came up with a really cool idea, which made this game famous. But I showed this game to one of my students. His name is Ethan, and a lot of great things will happen when he starts playing in tournaments on a regular basis. Because he actually found a better move than Boleslavsky did. Which is impressive, because Boleslavsky was really good. He realized something interesting. He realized he has knight c7, but of course there is more to knight c7 than just attacking the rook. The point is, if the rook moves, we have bishop b5, which traps the queen. And I looked at it with the computer. Afterwards I said, wow, that's actually really, really good. So Ethan, incredible. Keep it up, and I can't wait to see what you will accomplish. But I want to show you Boleslavsky's idea. Boleslavsky said, I really want my knight to be on this square. I want it to stay there. Right now black has two pieces which control this square. So I'm going to get rid of both of them. So first he plays c4, which sacrifices a pawn. Black takes, knight c3 first, because the knight wants to go here. So knight attacks the queen, queen defends bishop. So now the bishop is traded off, and now we need to get here. But there is still this knight, so we play bishop g5. We will get rid of this knight, and we will get this square. So black played queen e6, we take the knight, black took back, and now knight c5. And although we are down a pawn, compared things we have more than +1. Why? Well, this knight is the main reason. Also, a lot of the time you're told that bishops are better than knights. This position is an exception because this is a really good knight, it controls all the squares, and this is a miserable bishop blocked by this pawn. Okay, so black to move, the queen is being attacked, the queen cannot go here because of the fork, so queen h4. And now the middle is closed, so Boleslavsky wants to attack on this side. The problem is if he starts with g3, black will play queen here. It's very hard for us to push this pawn. So Boleslavsky takes his time. He plays queen e2. He'll play queen f1. And then he'll play g3. Black doesn't really have a plan. Well, it's hard. That bishop cannot do anything. All of this is blocked. So bishop f8. Boleslavsky continues with his plan. Rook c8, black now has a line. Boleslavsky continues with his plan. Queen moves. h4. By the way, fun fact, this is a free pawn. But again, someone gives you something free. Make sure there are no tricks. If queen takes, this queen gets trapped. It has no squares. So Sicilian obviously did not fall for this. He saves his queen. Queen h6. Notice the queen does not have too many squares because the knight covers most of them. If he went to h5, we would play g4 with tempo. g4 is played anyway. And now we have ideas of g5 and h5. Black plays g5 himself. And now Boleslavsky took. Black took back. And now Boleslavsky simply brings his rook. Okay, queen moves back. And now very beautiful move by Boleslavsky, pawn g5. He cannot take this rook because our knight will fork. That's nice. But this is not just a hope chess move. We are threatening knight f6. That's why we move the pawn. We want this outpost. And then we'll take here. So black has to deal with this. So he plays pawn h6. But Boleslavsky simply takes, and the problem for black is he cannot take the rook because we have this fork. Again, the power of the knight, the power of the outposts. Well, the queen is attacked, queen takes pawn. Boleslavsky plays another cool move, rook h5. Once again, black cannot take because of the fork, but now the problem black has is this lines are open. Black resigned. Why did he resign? Well, let's pretend he moves the queen somewhere safe. Let's pretend queen g6. We now can simply connect the queen and the rook, but we're also preparing to bring the second rook here. If you prefer, let's go back. We can also play queen h3, and we can triple over here. And again, the power of this knight is amazing. In this position, we're still down a pawn, but it doesn't matter. The king is open, the knight dominates the position. So very, very instructive game. There are a number of useful Sicilian ideas which I hope you will use in your games. Also remember the power of the outposts. Also remember, knights and bishops are worth 3 points, but not always. Sometimes bishops are better, sometimes knights are better. Sometimes knights are much better. Ethan, if you watch this video, I can't wait to see how much you accomplish. Thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe. I'll be back soon.